Welcome to Sipping on Excellence. This is Coach KJ, and I'm here with my man, my dude, the Doc.
And this is where we will be discussing the exceptional that is absolutely attainable. My friends, here's to living that extraordinary life.
Cheers. Man, oh man. Here we go again. Old DJ Jazzy F over here.
Please, why he hating on me? Wiggy, wiggy.
And the Get F crew.
Get F'd crew. Woo, shit.
Jeez Louise, we going in hard already.
We are. Y'all missed a good live today, so y'all might want to go check out all three platforms. I'm saying, can't even get it out. All three platforms to check out the live from today, because we went in.
Welcome to another episode of Sipping on Excellence.
Yes.
No G. Sipping. People look for us. They say, I couldn't find you. There's no G. Sipping.
We got Coach KJ.
And not Coach Kenneth.
We got Doc.
I love when people can't pronounce my name. It is TH, Kenneth.
There's
Not Kenneth.
Kenneth.
Lionel. I think it drives
me crazy.
I know it does, because it drives me nuts. I have to correct people. It's Lionel.
It's that simple. There's no I.
So my wife's name is Kenyatta. Hey, Kenyatta. Oh, no, where'd you hear Kenyatta?
There's no
Kenyatta
A.
with Kenyatta?
E.
Drives me nuts. I will fix people quick.
Right. Because that means you just lazy and don't care to understand.
Got a monkey rich with me all day long. I will give you a tune-up.
Right. I'm stealing that. I am fucking stealing that one.
Got a monkey rich. I will tune you up.
Oh, man. Hey, man, we appreciate you guys tuning in every week. I know we say this all the time, but we can't appreciate you enough. Thank you. For those who are newcomers to Sipping on Excellence podcast, we talk about what's real. We talk about the things that people think about but are too afraid to say.
And that's everything.
That's everything. And somebody asked me the other day, that's why I brought it up on the live this morning. You afraid of being canceled?
Canceled
from who? This is our show. We talk about whatever the hell we want.
Right.
You don't want to listen.
Because our message is always clear. We talk to that one person that needs to hear it.
Those who don't want to hear it don't have to listen.
Right.
It's that simple. There's 1,000,001 podcasts out there. Ours is the one. Go tune into the other million if you don't like what we're saying.
Yeah, because there are a lot of people out there saying exactly what we're saying as well. It's just our way of saying it.
Exactly. And we're happy to be here for those who are really in it, who think they get something from hearing our voices every week. That's why we don't take hiatus.
Right.
We keep coming at you, and believe it or not, y'all, we record on Saturday, release on Wednesday. Mm-hmm. We don't even have podcasts in the bank anymore.
We tried, and we're like,
you know what?
Yeah, no, let's not do that, because
it's authentic conversation.
That is where we're trying to hit at. That moment. We
can't go back and be like, we didn't really like this one. Let's not put it out.
Yeah.
It's coming out. No matter how we feel about it.
Think about the last several weeks.
Yeah.
The podcast, we haven't even thought about, like, just sit down and have a conversation about it. It was a text.
Oh, this week's podcast was yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
We sent a text yesterday, and we both were like, this is a good one.
Yeah. Because the one before, like the thought you had, that's like, I see it, but I'm not seeing it in this length.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it in this capacity.
Right.
I feel it, but I'm not feeling it.
Exactly. And that's and I was like, are you sure? You were like, well, that's the one you put on the list. And I was like, I know. I just
You're not feeling it either.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to make it work in my head, and I just figured, you know what? Maybe it wasn't the time for this topic.
And maybe it's a topic that's blended with something else, which is why we're not talking about it. Duh.
No.
We're going to bring it up later. Duh.
That's what we do. On the fly. That's what we do. We're happy to be here, though. I'm happy to be here each and every week. And I think just from the feedback we got from last week's episode about toxic behavior, people were like, I needed to hear some of that. because some people didn't know that they were toxic. And they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah, it doesn't have to be you going crazy, flipping out, blowing out windows. It was the simple things we talked about, and that was the lesson learned. Mm-hmm. So if you missed it, go back. There's a whole lot of episodes. If you missed that one, there's probably more that you need to go listen to as well.
Right.
You know. But on that note, let's get into Coach and see how he's been doing this week. Since we didn't communicate a whole lot this week, we were both busy as shit. You know, this is me catching up with my dude live, y'all. So this is what we do.
Man, let me tell you, that back, it was angry. Like when I sent that video, I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I can't redo that right now. Right. My back is a little angry. I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to get back to you. So we're trying to evolve and add more content, more things out there. And one of the things is helping people with their back issues. And that's what we've been talking about.
And not just back, but just their movement issues. Yeah. You know, back, hips, knees, neck, you know, all the things that we all have problems with that we all seek a doctor for. We're going to try to figure out ways to help you so you don't need to see the doctor. Yeah. You know, and we'll post something every week, Coach. We're going to introduce you to Dr. Natalie Sampson, who's going to be a part of this not transition, but a part of this segment of what we're adding into basically life's issues. And we weren't going to talk a bunch about healthcare, but we can talk about prevention. Yeah. You know, and just how to move, because that's such a big part of both of our lives. Why not just kind of sneak it in from time to time so you guys can benefit from what we think we know?
You know, what it got me thinking just now is, and I was having a conversation with a client about COVID. Right. And just, you know, how messed up we were as a culture during COVID. I'm like, no, COVID just put the sprinkles on the cake of how messed up we were as a culture. The lack of movement, the pre-existing conditions. For everything. Sure. When people say, oh, you know, my uncle died, my mother died, it's like they had they didn't go to the doctor.
They didn't take care of themselves. Exactly. And that's the problem.
They never took care of themselves. Yes, you're sad. You know why you should be sad? Is because they did not take care of themselves.
Yeah. And it's
morbidly obese. Yeah. You know, diabetes, you know, all these concerns and issues that they're going to have anyway. They just put a spark on it.
Well, what ends up happening too is it's always somebody else's fault.
Oh God, yeah. But yet we have this body positivity culture. Yeah. Do you see the silence? I get body positivity.
No, body positivity needs to that's another one of those terms we need to throw out with toxic. It's not about being body positive, it's about being body healthy.
Yeah. Being body aware.
And healthy. I didn't say you need to be skinny.
Nope.
I didn't say I'm in my fat phase, I'm in my thick girl phase, I'm in my dad bod phase. Are you healthy? That's all I want to know. Are you healthy? Number one, are you healthy physically? And when you look in the mirror, are you mentally healthy because you like what you see?
Right. Because guess what? When you start feeling better, you're going to think differently about yourself and the world around you.
100%. You feel like shit, you're going to act like shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's simple.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Anyway, other than that, the back has been a little angry this week, but at the same time, you know, I have to do what I have to do.
You get through.
I get through. Always do. Always do. Always do.
Right?
Had to get in my romantic voice on that one. You showed is right. Come on back. Let's go. Where are we going? I don't know.
This fool's throwing on the quiet storm voice.
We're going to slow it down for you so you can act right.
And with that, here's Jodeci.
Yeah. With 3 Advil.
Right. Woo, boy, we have problems, y'all.
Come and talk to me. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's been that type of week.
Man,
Can you tell?
Yeah. I feel you, man.
What's up with you,
dude? It was a busy week, dude.
Well, since it's been busy, what did you learn about it?
I talked about it on the live today. Mm-hmm. Remember the conversation I had about my conversation with someone in the transgender community?
Yes.
And this particular person is a trans man who, I know it, but everything about the medical records says female.
Of course.
And the look is very androgynous. And so the polite thing to do, because I know this patient, I just asked, what is your preference of how you want to be? Like, what do you want me to call you? Because the person still has a female name. And so his birth name. And so he was like, I prefer to be called he or him, but immediately then says, but I don't get rubbed wrong when people refer to me as a she, her, simply for the fact that they don't know. Mm-hmm. And so if I haven't told them, then they don't know. And it's not, I don't get mad at them for making an assumption. Everybody makes assumptions. Like, I make an assumption that you want to be called he when I talk to you. I was like, and he was like, I could be wrong.
Right.
And I was like, exactly. He's like, so he was basically just saying, I have parents that are in their 80s and they're never going to get it right. So do I hold that against them? No, I just move on with my life and it's not that big a deal. If everybody around me who has no idea what my preference is, to just know. And that was the realest moment I've had. And then we were talking about, what do you consider yourself? Oh, I consider myself a transgendered man. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and then what do you consider me? Because we're having this long discussion. I like getting in the heads of people.
Right.
You're just a man.
Okay.
And he starts laughing and he looks at me, he's like, you thought I was going to say sis, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, I thought so. He's like, why? And he said this, why do I need to put a label on you when I'm the one that's different?
Wow. How profound is that? It's so simple.
And I was like, he's like, your label is what you prefer to be called, which is a man. My label is a trans man because that's what I am.
Yeah.
And that describes who I am and what I've become. I'm like, okay, cool. And we both just started laughing and you move on. But that's a learning experience.
Yeah.
That people have this preconceived notion about putting everybody in a box. All trans people are in a box. Everybody in the LGBTQ plus is in a box. And there's so many different boxes. Everybody's not going to know what box you fit in.
When you said that, what it made me think about was this. He was a writer. He was on Bill Maher. This was a few years ago. Mm-hmm. And he was speaking on why the Latinx, whatever we call them, Latin community, mm-hmm. typically go Republican. Is because of the labeling and the constantly, this is this and this is that and this, in the liberal community, like, okay, this is the box they fit in, this is the box, as opposed to, say, the agricultural world, the construction world, the business world. You know what I mean? Everybody fits within.
Oh, for sure.
On the Republican side, they don't give them that label, so they're not tied into something. And they're not singled out, so they have to constantly be, worried. So,
right.
I found that interesting.
Well, I was just looking at my phone because I was just thinking about that I missed parts of that conversation. I was telling somebody else about it.
Okay.
But, it's just the problem with society is that we do drop labels on people all the time, mm-hmm. And this liberal conservative society and how the far right has gone super far right. The far left, I think and y'all are I want y'all to think about this when I say it. I think the far left has gone much further left than the far right has gone right. You know what I mean? Because people who are far right conservatives, whatever that means, you've always known who they are.
Correct.
And they didn't push the right to farther right. They just stayed more right than right of center. The far left have moved the goalposts to further left and keeps pushing it to a point where we don't even know where the end point is.
Yeah, it's not in the stadium.
We don't even know where the end point is. And it's like, make that make sense to me. You know, I don't understand. And I think it's more about, people care more about being different than they care about getting along. You know, people really care more about being different than getting along. I want you to understand my differences rather than saying, you know what, I'm just going to accept who you are and you accept who I am, and we keep moving. No. I need you to acknowledge every piece of me that's different.
Yeah.
Stop seeking acknowledgement. Just live your life. Mm-hmm. I don't go out every day saying, I need you to acknowledge that I'm a black man. I need you to acknowledge that I'm a black, straight, heterosexual man that's under 6 foot. No, I don't need to go out there and say, I need you to acknowledge me as a doctor. I don't do any of that. I just live my life. And as long as you're not coming at me, I'm cool. I don't expect you to, when I walk up to you and shake your hand, you don't know anything about me but what I tell you in that moment.
Yeah. It's like when I told you about I talked about it on our show last week. I was talking about the guy in the gym, or I don't know if it's a guy or if he's in transition or wherever he is or she is in their life, they are in their lives. But it was, the irritating part is they're not doing work.
Yeah.
You're staying in the way because you're seeking attention and you're looking for validation of somebody to say, oh, look at him or her or they, whatever that case is and whatever you're looking for, versus coming to the gym and putting in work. You're not putting in work. You're staying in the way because you need this.
People are
space.
Constantly seeking that validation.
Seeking that validation, man. It drives me freaking nuts.
And not only, they're not only, you know, I see where, okay, you may want to seek validation from your partner. You want to seek validation from your friends. But when you need to seek validation from everybody you come in contact with, that means you're lacking in self-esteem, self-awareness, self-worth.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And it just, you know, it's sad because it's annoying. And it's sad that society is driving us to a point where people will consistently either hyperinflate their self-worth or have no idea what their self-worth is.
So everybody's a fraud.
100%.
Everybody's a fraud. And we had an episode where we talked about whether people are fraud or whether there's this imposter syndrome that they're working to get to a different level because they don't know what level they're at. They're just trying to get to that next level, and it's a fear. Yep. But a fraud thinks he's already there, or they're trying to pretend to do whatever's necessary to be there.
Exactly. A fraud wants everybody to think they're there.
Yeah.
When they're nowhere close.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's just it's funny, man. And before we get into the what's wrong with y'all, it was a refreshing conversation to have with my patient in a setting where I had every right to discuss with them and discuss with him about his biologic sex as opposed to his gender.
Right.
But yet he decided that he was like, you know what? Here's where people get it wrong, and it doesn't bother me when people get it wrong because they didn't get I didn't get the chance to tell them. Nobody all the time is going to walk up to you and be like, before we start a conversation, how do you want me to refer to you? But if you listen to where the most severe left liberals are, they want you to do that. Don't misgender me. Don't miss whatever. Well, I don't know, because if you look at yourself in the mirror, I don't have a fucking clue what you are.
You made a choice. You made a choice that I don't know about. Because you don't know who I am,
what if I'm agendered?
I don't know that.
If I don't believe that
I don't know that.
I don't know that you don't think you're a gender. You might think you're a dog, but unless you tell me, now if you look like one, I'm going to be like, oh. Before I ask, are you meaning to have a snout with a tail and all that? Cool. So you identify as a dog? Cool. But if I look at you and I don't see that, forgive me if my eyes see one thing and I refer to you as that. Just simply correct me. If you mispronounce my name, I will correct you. I'm not going to get mad at you for mispronouncing. Does that make sense? Now, if I correct you and you continue to do it, that means you don't give a shit. That means that's a problem.
That's a problem.
So if you are a he and you want to be referred to as a she, you tell me that from the beginning, and then from there forward, I will do my best to remember that you are a she. If I slip up from time to time, just correct me.
Yeah.
If I refuse to call you a she, that's me just not respecting you, and then you don't need to be around me.
Yeah.
So,
but it sounds like he has found his place of comfort.
Yes.
And understands and identifies this is his process, not yours, not mine, not anyone else's. So I might as well help them through my process so they'll have a better process of how I would like to be.
And you know who are the wisest in that community? The older people.
Yeah, man.
I look at some of my trans patients who are older, because mostly older people get back issues, like Coach, you know. Mostly older people get back issues.
I'm still quick,
but
and I'm still angry.
True. And so, but like this patient, they get it. They're like, you know what? They're not getting up in arms because somebody doesn't. They understand the difference between respecting their pronouns and knowing their pronouns. Mm-hmm. If you know my pronouns and you don't refer, then that's disrespect. If you don't know, it's not disrespect. You just don't know. And so they don't get all bent out of shape. Yeah. The younger generation, when I mean like the teens and 20-somethings that now are rah, 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 you should know, don't you misgender me. How do you know I'm this? How do you know I'm that? I don't, so just tell me. You know, and that's what I think it is. Because you don't see Caitlyn, right?
Yes.
You don't see Caitlyn Jenner going all ballistic if somebody slips up and says he.
Because she knows.
Yes.
She knows. She's old enough.
Yes, exactly. Old enough to know that people aren't fucking perfect.
But think about it. She never changed any of her beliefs outside the fact that it was once a he, now a she. And this is a decision that she has made. Other than that, staunch Republican. Hardcore. Don't believe, and you know, even transgender in sports, like has an opinion about all these things. I mean, just down the, it's like nothing's ever changed. It's just that I choose to be this.
And it's just.
And still wants to be with women.
Yeah.
Knows exactly. It's like, this is just me.
I respect it 100%.
Yeah.
Let's get into the sip of the day, man.
I know.
Got a drink here, y'all, called the Mikado. And we decided to go a little cognac route with you guys. So it's cognac, and you'll get the recipe if you actually take your time to read the caption. You want to know the recipe, read it. Open your eyes. But it's cognac, amaretto, triple sec, grenadine, bitters.
Like peach Kool-Aid. And
y'all, it's kind of tasty. It is very you shake it up and pour it in a lowball glass or your old-fashioned glass. And
this is
sip and enjoy.
This is Kool-Aid.
Okay, drink that down. We'll see how cool your aid is. You're going to be cool and need aid. Cheers, man. It is a good drink, though, man.
It is.
It's interesting. I can taste a little bit of the grenadine in there. I can taste, and it's just
let it
enough.
Sit. It had to sit, yeah. And it's even better.
Yeah. But good cocktail. And somebody asked me the other day, well, where do you guys, how you sip on all these cocktails, but you don't tell us how to make it? Read. Click on the caption. Read. Anyway, so you're right. We don't tell you. We just make it easily accessible for you.
Right.
Which means
just read.
Do a little work. Just do a little bit of work. It ain't even a lot of work because you got to click on the same button to hear it or watch it. You might as well read while you're watching. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway,
I'm not here for it.
We in our live today, we talked a little bit about some of the what's wrong with y'all's, and my biggest what's wrong with y'all right now is society as a whole. You know,
I'm gonna sit up for this one.
Let's talk about the homeless population. Did you hear what the mayor of Anchorage, Alaska is doing?
No.
The mayor of Anchorage, Alaska says trying to house the homeless for the winter is more expensive than if I just take all the homeless and buy them one-way tickets to California. So he put up a proposal that will buy one-way tickets to California for the homeless so they don't basically die in the winter. Man. So that's one issue, you know. And one of the things that I look at is, you know, our lovely mayor in this city isn't doing a thing about the homeless issue. But like we talked about earlier, you look at all the crime that's currently plaguing our lovely city of LA. It ain't the homeless doing it.
No.
It's dumbass kids that are.
I mean, there is. But
here and there.
Nowhere close.
I don't go outside and fear getting jacked by a fucking homeless person. When I pull up to a restaurant to go eat dinner, I don't think a homeless person is going to roll up to me in a car and.
Now, I do know a lot of homeless people, what they've been doing, especially around this neighborhood. They're finding out what house is vacant.
No, they want to sleep somewhere.
They're sleeping somewhere. Yeah, they're sleeping on people's porches. They're going up the doors or whatever. Seeing they're casing in a different space. They're casing because they're looking for a place.
And one thing I've noticed is that people are always like, well, why does California, it's the liberal that California has so many homeless people. I'm going to just make this very logical. If I had to sleep outside, where the hell am I going to want to sleep?
New York?
Nowhere where it gets cold. Nowhere where it gets deathly hot in the summer.
Yeah.
Nowhere where you get hurricanes. Nowhere where you get tornadoes and hailstorms. We're kind of running out of parts of this country, except for California. And the further up north you get, the colder it gets, the more rain you get. San Diego County, Orange County, Los Angeles County, Riverside County, you kind of got the best weather in the world. If I'm sleeping outside, guess where I'm going?
Absolutely correct.
So do you blame people for coming to be homeless in California? No. If I lived in Oklahoma, I'm hitchhiking, walking for the next year till I end up in LA. And I'm hoping to get here before, October, November hits when the cold starts to come in. So I don't blame homeless people. I blame society. And number two, COVID hit and made a lot more people homeless because people were losing jobs, can't afford to live here. And it's not like, oh, they lost their job, they got to pack up and move out of California. If they don't have money to stay in their crib, they don't have money to move.
Think about how big of a jump the homeless population jumped after the crash in 2008.
Yeah.
Significant. And you look about the after effects of that. You're talking about a large population that they might have survived barely, but they were on their way out by 2010, 2011. Now they're on the streets.
Well, think about what's also going to happen now that the eviction moratorium is going away.
Yep.
All these landowners, these landlords, are about to be like, get out of my crib.
Yeah. I mean, there are people that are in homes that are supposed to be okay. Their land is being taken away from them. There's a place in the valley that's supposedly these people have these, little bungalow places. They've been told, yeah, you got to get out.
Yeah.
Like, what?
You can't pay rent. You can't pay taxes. You can't afford your crib. I'm sorry.
Oh, they're paying rent. But they're like, yeah, no, we're getting the boot. Like,
because they probably don't want to lease it anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the owners of the property's right to not have squatters. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't have any rental property, but if I did, at some point in time, Pandemic's over. Some point in time, I'm supposed to lose money so you can be okay.
Right.
Well, who's gonna make me okay?
Nobody.
I'm sorry, but I will help you. But
everybody's punching, man. Everybody's punching.
And I get if you're like, hey, my rent's $1,000. Can I pay you $800? And we take my rent down to $800 a month. I'd consider that. But if you're just like, I don't want to pay rent at all, well, shit, then you gotta go.
Yeah.
For the past 2 years, you already went rent free. So I don't know what to tell you now. But anyway, that's one of my what's wrong with y'all. And then the other what's wrong with y'all is like we talked about earlier. All these little damn kids looting and robbing people.
Drives me nuts.
And especially places in California where laws are being passed where it's illegal for you to stop a shoplifter.
In other words, it's okay for you to go rob.
Walk in and steal what the hell you want.
Yeah.
Because nobody's going to stop you. And you're not going to get arrested. You're not going to jail. If you get arrested, you're not even going to be held on bond. They're just going to tell you, show up to court at some point in time. And it's up to you whether or not you want to show up.
So they're like, oh, man, this is great. Let me see what I can do.
And it's only in California. Mm-hmm. So figure that out. Yes, I live here, love living here, work here, spent most of my life here. Ain't going nowhere. But come on, man. I got to do better.
Now you're scared to drive around.
You got to do better. You're scared to have nice shit.
Yeah.
You
work hard.
I want to go out for a nice meal.
Yeah.
Can't wear a watch. Got to catch an Uber because I can't drive my car. I can't, whatever it may be, because you don't want to get jacked. And people are like, you scared. No, I'm smart.
Right.
I got a lot of living to do. I got a lot of people to take care of, and I can do without.
Right. Because of somebody's accident.
Yeah.
Or stupidity.
And so we got to be better at just understanding the root of the problem and start making people understand that shit. There are consequences to your actions. And right now, these little kids think there's no consequences.
Right.
I'm getting away with shit. Ooh, it's fun. They're not doing it because they need to eat.
No, they're eating well.
No, they're eating all right.
That's how come they run so fast getting out of the stores.
Yeah.
They're fed well.
They're not doing it because, I grew up in an underserved area in the country. And
I don't want to hear it.
Go to a developing country where people are looking for their next meal and you're not getting robbed.
Right. There are people in other countries right now that they're not being enslaved. They are selling themselves off.
And here's the other thing.
Selling themselves off.
Well, here's the other thing. You look at immigrants coming into this country from our southern border. They're coming here looking to work. They're not coming here. That's not who you see running through the stores jacking you. But yet you want to close the borders. These are the people that are cleaning homes, doing all this stuff. They're not the little kids running around jacking people. I mean, there was a group of kids, I'm not going to say the nationality of them, who were going around the valley robbing people's cribs. They broke into my brother's home. Remember I told you this? Didn't take money, didn't take his computers, the kids' computers, watches, jewelry, none of that shit. Took Louis Vuitton bags and luggage. Jumped into the outdoor cameras, caught them jumping into a Range Rover and driving off. They're doing shit because it's fun.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So that's that bullshit.
Man.
Because there's no consequences. There's no parenting. Kids are getting away with whatever the fuck they want because parents are like, I don't give a shit.
I'm telling you, man, one of these days you're going to hear about it. Get a hot toddy in that ass.
Some of these kids are going to catch a hot one and people are going to be up in arms. Why you shot my kid? Why'd he break into my fucking house?
Hey.
Answer that question. Well, he's just a kid. Well, how about next time you come with him and we'll put the hot one in you?
He's just a kid.
He's just a kid stealing shit.
And that is exact.
And they know that.
Yeah. Because at some point they're benefiting from his bullshit.
I know plenty of kids that are just kids that aren't doing that shit.
They're just trying to get good grades and move on in life.
And they're broke as fuck. Mm-hmm. Still wondering where they're going to get their next meal, but yet they're not out there doing this dumb shit. It's usually the kids that have shit that think it's fun and it's a high to go rob people.
And you know what? I think it's that same, it evolves around that same crew of people that were taking over blocks doing the donuts.
Yeah.
You know, it's that whole thing. It's like this generation of take.
It don't make no sense, man.
Nope.
It don't make no sense. Nope. Yeah, and I mean that's my biggest what's wrong with y'all, man. It really is.
If that was big enough.
Yeah,
that one gets under my skin. So
because it's not ending.
Because at the end of the day, a lot of it, and you know, we talked about this on the live. It comes back on us.
Yes,
it comes back on all of us technically. But
yes, our generation is allowing that shit to happen.
But sitting here as two black men, I mean, we always get a brunt of it. So
yeah,
just real talk, you know.
And they're only showing us in the media.
There's everyone out there doing it,
but they're only showing these little black kids do.
Right.
That's who's hitting social media. That's who's hitting the news.
The news.
Why? Because I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. People think we're violent people anyway. Mm-hmm. And then we keep going back making excuses saying, oh, we're this way because how society has made us.
You know what? That one goes.
That argument, fuck that shit. Can you come up with a new one?
Yeah. That one goes right along with the argument of the weight.
I'm fat because I don't have access to good food. Nobody's putting the bad food in your mouth but you.
And you do go to the grocery store. I don't want to hear what you have to say.
You don't stay, like you said, on the ends. You walk in the middle. Mm-hmm. Don't buy a ho-ho or a ding-dong. Buy a fucking banana. Oh, but it doesn't taste as good. Well, that's your problem.
Right.
Right then and there. Today's topic, man, let's get into it. Like we already have it. And the funny thing is I want to word it correctly. That's why I keep looking at my phone. Wasted energy and how to focus on what really matters.
Yeah, man.
And so you guys out there, listen to this carefully because you can take this in all walks of life.
And we're not talking about wasted time.
We're talking about wasted energy.
Which wastes a lot of time.
You know? And think about the things in your life, what you say you spend the most energy focusing on. What would you say right now? What do you focus on most?
I focus on developing me.
Correct. Most people don't focus on that.
No, they do not.
They waste their energy focusing on other people.
Yes.
100%. And then, because they're, and this is why we were talking about earlier with keeping up with the Joneses. Mm-hmm. People are focusing on what other people are doing, what other people have, and instead of using that as motivation,
their vehicle,
and using it as an inspirational tool, they're using it as, oh, look at her, or oh, look at him. I need that. I want that. Or why do they have it and I don't?
Which creates a take culture.
Exactly. And they're not looking at what do I have to do to better myself so I can put myself in a position to obtain that. They're not thinking about themselves. They're thinking about where can I go get it? Well, no. Start within. Mm-hmm. Start focusing your energy on bettering yourself.
The bad energy you have is the bad energy that you're taking in. That bad energy is wasted energy.
And when I say focusing on what really matters, we live in a society where we focus our energy on what we don't have instead of focusing our energy on what we have. Coach made that statement earlier. We're always looking. We never pay attention to what we have. When we were growing up, it wasn't like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. We didn't see it. So we didn't know that existed. Yeah. We just knew, okay, this is all I have, so I'm just going to make the most of all I have. Not, well, God, look at that over there. I don't have that. It wasn't even a thought.
You know, it's almost like it's a hashtag now. We ain't got no
money.
We ain't got no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The energy, the thought process is what I do not have. My capabilities come from what I've been able to see that what we didn't have, we were able to make gains in, or the efforts that were put in, so that way we're like, this is how we survive. This is how we thrive. Yes. This is how we create thrive from our survival versus, oh, I'm not surviving. I'm not surviving. Oh, I need to, if I don't do this, I'm dead. It's almost like a mindset about, and it's with luxury.
Yeah. Did you ever growing up have this thought where I'm angry, I don't feel included? Meaning, for example, people waste their energy on trying to figure on being included as opposed to spending their energy on being better. You know, like a little kid. Nowadays, it's more important I've seen parents and families who spend most of their time on, I just have to make sure my kid feels comfortable. I'm putting all my energy on making sure that my kid gets to participate in everything. How about you put your energy into letting your kid understand how to better himself?
Yes.
You know, teach your kid that sometimes you're going to lose.
Yes.
And have him focus his energy on getting better so he loses less. Not that he never loses, but he loses less.
And I think we talked about that a long time ago. Just the whole culture of, like, for instance, if you do karate, if you do martial arts, whatever, you get to belt. You get to the next belt. Oh, break this break. There's not a you do or you don't, and you don't move forward. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You don't move forward if you don't do this. You have to do this to move forward. You do it, you kind of do it, or you don't do it, you still move forward.
Correct. So
you get a trophy and you place last in the league. Why do you get a trophy?
Because you played.
Because you played?
Miss me with that shit.
You get a ribbon. You know what I mean? It's
and the other thing too is, like, we talk about wasted energy. Let's look at something you and I both know. Mm-hmm. People who work out in the gym. You get these dudes who spend so much time trying to perfect their form, their lift, their physique, all of this stuff. But they're dumb as hell. They don't read. They don't go to school. They're not educated, but they spend 7 hours in the gym. And then they stand in the mirror flexing all day, and they're not doing it for health reasons.
No.
They're doing it for looks reasons.
Yes.
And sometimes those looks reasons aren't healthy, you know? And so that right there is wasted energy. You're focusing your energy in the wrong spot. I dig the dedication it takes to look like that.
How are you going to capitalize on that now?
Exactly. What's it going to do for you? Yes, discipline is just one aspect of what it takes to be successful. Mm-hmm. If all you have is discipline in one aspect of your life, but you suck in all the rest, if you can't have a conversation with somebody, if you treat your woman like shit, if you're just a rotten, cocky individual, but you look great in the mirror, what have you done? What benefit to society are you?
That gym time was wasted. Energy. Wasted. And you put in all the efforts. You got exactly what you wanted, but it was wasted energy because you didn't actually attain anything else except for that body.
That's it.
Nothing new in between here. No financial gain.
Nothing.
No new booty.
Nothing. Yeah, nothing. Right?
You know, you probably running people away.
It's just
because you're just a bad person to be around. Just bad energy.
And you see the same thing in relationships where people spend so much energy focusing on others' perception of their relationship. How do we look to the outside world? How do we look as a partnership? Do people think we're happy? Or they spend so much energy telling their significant other all the shit that's wrong with them, when they spend no energy focusing on themselves.
Or they put so much energy trying to please their partner.
Yes.
Either being negative or positive, one way or the other. They're putting too much energy into the partner to validate them, to make them feel kind of better, whatever. And there's such a loss of self that they have actually giving everything. It's like taking a noose, putting it around your neck, and then handing it to your partner.
Makes
You're
no
not
sense.
there. Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. You're not there for them.
No. And people don't realize that in order for you to be in a space where a fulfillment, you have to focus on you first. If you are a mess, but you're like, I'm going to push me aside so I can make everybody else's life better, you're becoming more of a mess. And that's wasted energy. It really is. Like, you have people who, and I talk to my friends who have kids, they put all their energy into their kids. One day the kids aren't going to be there. Yeah. Your health sucks, and all the stuff that you're not doing for yourself, your kids don't see you doing it for yourself, so they're not going to do it for themselves because they're going to think it's not necessary. If you focused on you, your kids would see you focusing on you, and they would mimic you. Kids learn by mimicking. You telling them shit or doing it for them doesn't always work.
It doesn't teach them.
It doesn't teach them anything. Living the life that you're supposed to be living is the best teacher your kids can have. It's the best teacher the people around you have. Notice, and I used to think when I was younger, people say, oh, do you feel that energy? I'm like, that's bullshit. What energy are you talking about? Now you get it. When somebody walks into a room and their shit is together, they don't have to say a word. You can feel it, right?
Yeah.
You can just tell there's this presence, man or woman, that you're like, oh.
Yeah. Well,
but when you're sitting there talking to somebody and it's just the conversation is fucking draining you, it's because their energy is like a black hole. It's just sucking the life out of you, and all you want to do is run. Sometimes people feel that way about you, and you don't even know because you can't sense it because you focus nothing on yourself.
It's funny that you say that. It reminded me, and I think I either said it on our live or one of my lives or something, but there was a guy in the gym, well-renowned choreographer and blah, 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 blah. But he's coming with his group of guys and the people he's hanging out with, and they work out, his team. And he walks in, hey, Kenny, how you doing? I'm like, oh, man, I'm all right. He's like, oh, okay. And as he's leaving, they're all walking past me, whatever. He's the only one that speaks. He's like, all right, man, I'll see you later. I was like, all right, dog, I'll holler. He came back to me and he said, I don't know if you know this about yourself, but your energy is dynamic. It's vital for the nature of this gym. When your energy's off, it shuts down this room. This room is cold right now because I feel that. A lot of people don't have that. You need to be aware of it, and you need to check it. He said, that's all I'm saying. And from that day on, I've always been like, yeah, no, I need to pull myself together before I go in here.
Remember when I was under the weather and my back was killing me? This was a few weeks ago. And everything came out at once. I'm in the office, and every time I moved, I was cringing, and I was walking down the hall. My nurses pulled me aside, and they're like, dude, everything is off today. They're like, you're going through the motions. And everybody's day goes to shit when they're looking at you to be the mood setter. Same thing. When I walk in the operating room and I click the music on and I'm high-fiving people before we start surgery and I'm talking to people and I'm moving. Everybody else is like, oh, we about to have a good day. Let's roll. If I walk in there and I don't say shit to people and I'm just kind of, you can sense that people are a little bit like, all right, well, it's going to be one of those kind of days. You can just sense it. And it took me a long time to understand the power of a person's energy. And the fact that they can just bring your shit down or live. It's hard when somebody comes in with big dick energy and they're larger than life and just kind of gregarious. It's hard to be in a shitty mood around that person. You know what I mean? It's like you. It's when you're firing on all cylinders, it's hard to be in Coach's presence and be like, yeah, okay. No, you can't, because you're that, not, and I wouldn't say life of the party, but big personality, big energy. And the same thing, for example, and I always say this, and I'm going to say this to you ladies, the energy you bring in the room when you're well-dressed, well-spoken, you smell nice, and you just stroll in, there's nothing sexier than that, which is way different than that woman that walks in scantily clad, giggling, laughing, foul-mouthed, doing whatever. You've killed the energy. Mm-hmm. And believe it or not, men feed off energy just like women do. Women don't believe that we feed off energy. We just don't. We just don't say it, because men will accept anything physically. Yeah. You know,
we'll get by.
We'll get by.
We'll get by.
You guys, women won't get by. Women don't. If your energy's bad, women won't tolerate it, because it's so much. It affects them more. Men, we can compartmentalize and be like whatever, but that energy is so important.
Oh, it's vital. It's like I do know that my energy is very vital.
Yeah,
it's vital to a room. I don't care how my back feels. I know what my back is. I'm going through it. I don't have to put that out there. I don't have to wear it as my shield. It's not a badge of honor. I'm dealing with it. But look, this is how I feel when I deal with it. I feel better. Yeah. I'm moving. I'm shaking. Let's go. Let's make it happen. I want the room to be better when I leave than when I walked in. That's my energy. That's how I give my energy. That's what I believe my energy is here for. I believe that's what I'm here for.
And when I'm not in the greatest mood, which rarely, I'm always even keel. If I'm just going through it, I notice people bring it up. As much as I try to hide it.
Yes.
As much as I try to hide it, people will bring it up to me. And it's usually, people that, and even people who aren't that close to me, Doc, you okay? What makes you say that? And I get offended. Like, I'm fine. Oh, maybe you look tired?
They be watching. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
They be watching. Everybody's watching. Yeah. Everybody's.
Yes.
Or they know that something's different. They'll see it.
Yes.
Because they see it on you.
But here's the crazy thing. It's even with a tone of voice.
Yes.
You speak to somebody on the phone and they can just tell, dude, energy's off, something's different.
You okay?
Or, I haven't heard from you in a while. I just feel like I had this conversation with a woman the other day. I was like, we were talking in the middle of the conversation. I was like, what's on your mind? You're not here. And they're like, I'm here, I'm listening to you. No. You're physically here, but you're not here. I can sense it. Well, no, I just got a lot on my mind. That's what I'm saying. So you hear that. I hear that a lot. When I talk to different people, I'm like, they get shocked when midway I'm like, you okay? Why you ask that? Should I not have asked? Mm-hmm. People don't, as much as you try to hide things, God gave us the natural ability to sense things. Women sense things way more because that sixth sense became their protective mechanism. Ours isn't as developed, but it doesn't mean we don't have it because we got the same chromosomes, a lot of them. So we still have that ability. We're just not as in tune with it. Mm-hmm. But it still affects us.
Yeah.
It still affects us.
For sure. For sure.
And so we say this because we want you guys to pay attention to the energy that you put out there. And if you're not working on yourself and working on improving yourself, that energy is going to be obvious. And whether you mean to put it out there or not, people will sense it. They will see it. And the only way you change it and how you learn how to focus that energy elsewhere, even negative energy. If you're pissed off, take that negative energy and channel it into something else. Mm-hmm. Channel it into a learning experience. Channel it into, a broken heart. Somebody breaks your heart and you're down. That energy, instead of wallowing in it, immediately take a step back and say, okay, what about me made that happen? refocus and say, all right, how do I make this better so it doesn't happen to somebody else? If somebody pisses you off at work, instead of flying off the handle and redirecting that anger towards them, take that energy and say, you know what? They're pissed off now. Wait till they see what I accomplish here on this job. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you do when you're compounded, not just pounded, compounded with a level of negative energy at one time? What's your thing? Like immediately.
I find more projects at work.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is if there's just shit happening, what I tend to do is take that and say, okay, what else can I dive into? Oh, well, what does this need? What does that need? And I start focusing on all the projects that I'm working on. I'm like, all right, what's next? How can I make that better or that better? And I don't even think about the negative side anymore.
Yeah.
You know, if I had a business deal go south or I lost some money or I'm doing whatever, I'm like, oh shit, that stings. All right, what do I do next? Oh, how about this? How about instead of wallowing in it, I do something else for the foundation. Let's take on a new project. Let's make some shoes. Let's buy some school books. Let's do this. Not thinking, damn, how am I going to make this car payment or how am I going to do this? I'm like, nah, I channel that energy into doing, honestly, into doing something for someone else.
So in other words, you don't implode, you explode.
Exactly.
I was thinking about the other day, I was driving back home from training in the morning, and this guy, just angry driver, you know, has the handicap tags, but he has his old Ford truck, whatever. He's just wailed in front of me, got in front of me, and I honked the horn. So in essence, we're both turning right. I get up on the side of him, and he's just like trying to dip into my lane, like showing like how angry he is. And he's like, give me the finger. And I just do this. I roll the window down, and I'm just like, so he got even more mad. And
because you're not feeding
laughing. I'm not.
Because you're sending that opposing energy to him.
Yeah.
And either people are going to take on that energy and gravitate towards it, or it's like opposite sides of a magnet. Yeah, just gonna start pushing each other away.
I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let this dude get there. Matter of fact, you know what? If he's gonna keep doing this, I'm just gonna keep tailing right on the side of him and make him enjoy this whole process.
Oh, for sure.
Kept laughing at him and just
yeah, man,
clapping and everything. Keep it up.
Because the worst thing you could do is take on that negative energy and let it ruin your damn day.
Right. Oh yeah. No.
Because it really will fuck with your day. You'll be thinking about that. You'll be thinking about his ass all day.
Yeah, man.
You know? And so, you know, before we bring this podcast to a close, I just want to reiterate the fact that negative energy, there's no space for it. Always find a way to take that energy and channel it into something positive. If you can't channel it into something positive for yourself, put it into doing something for someone else. Because then you will automatically feel better.
Exactly.
You will automatically, any chance you get to take a shitty situation and make it benefit somebody else, you automatically feel better about that shitty situation that happened to you.
I was going to say one of the best things you could ever do is if a moment happens that gets on your nerves, call a friend, say how much you appreciate them, how much you love them. How have you been? What's been going on? You my dude.
It'll change your life.
You my girl. I miss you. I love you. I look forward to seeing us again when we go and hang out again.
Yep.
Something that's going to bring a nice, relevant, positive energy into your spirit. Your spirit will manifest as new being as opposed to that negative.
It automatically filters out that negative. It's that filter paper that strains that shit out.
It's immediate.
Yes. And then when you get that kickback text like, oh shit, so good to hear from you.
Right.
Let's catch up this weekend. Whatever just happened 5 minutes before, you've immediately forgot about it because it doesn't matter.
Right.
People's shitty energy coming to you doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. Focus on yourself. I'm going to say it one more time. Focus on yourself. Be selfish. Get your shit together. Focus on your energy, and it will spill over into everything you touch.
Yeah.
It's that simple, man.
And you are not going to be good for anybody if you're not good for yourself.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right. Man, this was a good one.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I think it was a much needed one.
Yeah, it's very needed. In this day, this time, this age, especially that shit we were talking about earlier. Yeah. It's time, bro. It's time. We got to find that good place for us.
And we got to keep having these conversations, y'all. You can't be afraid to speak about the shit you think about. If you only think about it, you're not making a change in this world.
Man. And we are here for the change.
Yes.
We are all here for the change.
If you want shit to change, open your mouth, speak up, and act.
That's right. That's right, Chief. Yo, this is Coach KJ. You're going to find me at Coach KJ Knows on Instagram and CoachKJ.com. Where you going to find you, Doc?
You're going to find me at Lionel Hunt on Instagram. You're going to find me huntspine.com.
Say that.
You're going to find the huntfoundation.org.
Say that.
You're also going to see us at podcastsoe.com. Have a good one, y'all. We out.
We out. Say that.
Yeah.